Hello. Today we're going to take a look at secants intersecting inside of a circle, but we're actually going to take a look at how to measure the line segments of the secant. So let's take a look here. So if two secants or chords intersect inside a circle, then the blank of the segments of the measure of the chords are blank. Well, this is going to be kind of tricky. It's going to be the product of the segments of the measure of the chords are equal. So to get the formula, I'm first going to create the diagram for you. So let's say we have these two secants, A, B, C, and D, and this is circle O. So the formula actually is going to be and they intersect at E. So the formula for this is actually going to be the piece times the piece is equal to piece times the piece, so it's going to be A times E, AE times EB is going to be equal to CE times ED. So each piece of the chord are going to be equal, multiplied together can be equal to each piece of the chord multiplied together. So let's take a look at an example on actually how to use this in a problem. So in circle O, chords AB and CD intersect at point E. If AE is 6 and EB is 8, CE is 4, find the length of ED. Okay, so we know that each piece of the chord multiplied together is going to be equal to each piece of the chord the other chord multiplied together. So to find segment ED, we're going to first look at AB. We're going to multiply AE times EB, and that's going to be equal to EC times ED. And ED is what we're trying to find. So now we're just going to go ahead and substitute all the values in. So AE is going to be 6 times EB, which is 8, is going to be equal to the length of EC, which is 4, times ED, which is what we're looking for, so times X. 6 times 8 is just 48, and that's going to be equal to 4X. Divide both sides by 4, and we're going to get 12 is equal to X. So the length of segment ED is going to be 12. Okay, so now taking a look at the next problem, which is going to get a little trickier. This is where our factoring that we reviewed in the beginning of the unit is going to come into play. So in circle O, chords RN and AB intersect at a point E. If AB is 16, RE is 6, and EN is 8, find the length of AE. Given that AE is less than EB, that's going to become very important here in a second. So let's take a look. Oh, look at that. They gave us what our length of EB is going to be. It's going to be 16 minus X. So again, we know that the pieces of the chords multiplied together is equal to the pieces of the other chord. So let's go ahead and start to set this up. So we know that RE times EN, each piece of this chord, multiplied together is going to equal to each piece of this chord multiplied together. So we're going to get is equal to AE times EB. So now we can go ahead and substitute in our values. RE is 6 times EN, which is 8, is equal to AE, which is X, times EB, which is 16 minus X. 48 is equal to 16X minus X squared. So I'm going to get everything on one side because I see an X squared here, which means I'm probably going to have to factor. So I'm going to subtract 16x at x squared, subtract 16x at x squared, do some rearranging. So we're going to get x squared minus 16x plus 48 is equal to 0. So now I have to go ahead and factor that. So I need a product of a times c, so a product of positive 48, and a sum of b, which is negative 16. So I have to come up with some factors of 48 that's going to give me a negative 16. Well, if I'm going to need a sum of negative 16, that's going to mean both of my factors are going to be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and do negative 4 and negative 12, because 4 minus 12, negative 4 minus 12 more is going to give me negative 16. Okay, so now that I have both of my factors, I'm going to rewrite my equation in terms of my new factors. So I'm going to get x squared. I'm rewriting my factors in terms of b. So minus 4x plus a negative 12x plus 48. And that's going to be equal to 0. So now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at each one separately. So I can factor, GCF here is going to be an x. So I'm still going to have x minus 4 plus, take a look here. I want my x here to be positive, so I'm going to go ahead and factor out a negative 12 from both of those. So if I take a negative 12 out, I'm still going to be left with x minus 4. So here I have x minus 4 that match, so I'm going to go ahead and pull those out as my greatest common factor. So I'm going to end up with x minus 4 times what is left, which is x plus a negative 12, or x minus 12. So then I'm going to get x equals 4, or x equals 12. Which one do I pick? Well, that's when I have to go back up to my equation. It says, given that AE is less than EB. So if AE is going to be less than EB, well, let's say I choose 12. AE would be 12. AE would be 12, and 16 minus 12 would be 4. Does that work? No, because 12 is bigger than 4. So 12 isn't going to work. Hopefully 4 is going to work. So if AE has to be less than EB, AE is going to be x, which is 4. Is that less than 16 minus 4, which is 12? Yes. So x equals 4 is my answer, and the length of AE, is going to be 4. So you're going to have some more problems like this for day 7. So make sure you brush up on your factoring if you have yet to do so, which hopefully you have done so by this point. So that's going to be it for your video for today. Thank you.